nwanne m kedu afa m bụ Lotanna nke unu ji Mayor of Nnewi wee malụ. Ana m anabata unu n'Obi Voice of the East. Taa anyị ga na-ekwu okwu maka ọchịchị na South Eastern Region Nigeria nke bụ ala Igbo anyị nọ na ya. Onye mụ na ya nọ taa bụ onye eji Anambra First Son wee malụ. Afa bụ Uche Okoye. Nwanne m nọ.
Daalụ rinne.
Nọ. Dịka m si kwuo akpọgo m afa gị. Ya akọwalụ ndị na-ekiri ndị Voice of the East, ya akọwala ya onwe gị.
Afa m bụ Maazị Uche Okoye. Abụ m onye Akpụ na-Agụata Local Government Area na Anambra State. Abụ m nwafọ Igbo.
Daalụ nwafọ Igbo. Daalụ otu si bịa nọnyere anyị taa. Ife anyị ga-ekwu maka ya, achọrọ m ka anyị just baa n'ime ife niile anyị ga na-ekwu ka anyị ghara igbu ndị na-ekiri anyị oge. So anyị chọrọ ikwu maka ife anyị ga-ekwu maka taa bụ basically governance in the Southeast. Ife na-eme na the Southeast in the political scene. So I will start with last year anyị nwelu the Southeast Economy and Security Summit nowhere. I think 28th or 29th of September 2023, all the Southeast governors and Ohaneze Ndị Igbo organized it, yeah? And that summit had Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala as keynote speaker, where she mentioned a whole lot of things about development and security in the Southeast. It go 1 year since they made that summit. Keki Yesikowa, the impact summit nwegol na the Southeast. If I can otu all the before the summit, ka o change go for the better, or go from good to bad.
Imana nkebe eziokwu bụ ihe ọbụla gọọmenti na-etinye aka, ọ na-enwe a lot of bureaucracies, ọ na-enwe a lot of checkpoints. And one of the reasons why some of the resolutions and ife niile akpakọrọ nya bụ nkata bụ na abịa nwee a transition, abịa nwee transition from old governors to new governors. Nwegasịa ụfọdụ batara with a different approach, different agenda, imago. But nya bụ ife ka m si wee na-afị ya, ọ gachọrọ ka o si wee kwesị maka na ihe gbasara gọọmenti nwere usoro a na-eji eso ya. Mana nke bụ eziokwu bụ na the only thing fugolo bụ na the idea of having that summit is a very important thing. Maka na ndị be anyị kwesịrị na-abụ ị na-enwe nya bụ ife ugboro anyị kwesịrị na-enwe annually, ekwesịrị na-akpa nya bụ nkata wee hazie ka obodo ga-esi wee na-aga. Maka na ine anya obodo anyị ọ na-agatasi agatọsi, maka na ọ bụrụ na anyị rapụ obodo anyị ọ na-aga ka o si aga, o nwere ike in the nearest future ya ma nwezi obodo anyị ga-akpọ nke anyị. So nya bụ ife bụ ihe bara uru na anyị ga na-enwe nya bụ nkata. Mana the problem was the implementation. Mana ebe aka a ga-enwezi nsogbu. Enwere a lot of things anyị kwugasịla anyị ga-eme. Enwekwekwara imago some progress emego. Ihe gbasara security abụrụ ife a na-ekwu
na one sitting.
And ọ bụrụ ife a ga na-apụta n'ọha anyị na-ekwupụsị nya bụ okwu. Ma enwere nwụgasịrị ụfọdụ ife ndị gọvanọ ma ọ bụ ndị na-achị achị na-eme in the best of my knowledge megolo. Ụfọdụ n'ime fa na-agbakọ mbọ na ha nwere ike, ụfọdụ enwere ifefa na-alụ, ụfọdụ just nọrọ ebe a na-eli egwu ọnwa. So no ife melụ. Mana ka m si na-afụ enwego plan inwe a new strategy of doing that type of summit. This time around, that area Southeast Business and Investment Summit nke na-abịa na this December n'Enugu. Nke ahụ na Owerri ka o mere. Mana nke a kịta na-abụ n'Enugu, and nke a bụ private sector.
Ọzọ gọọmenti.
Ọ bụrụ ọzọ gọọmenti, maka na ọ bụrụ na gọọmenti tinye aka ịma na nsogbu ga-adị. Mana nkịta bụ private individuals, ndị be anyị bụ ndị Igbo, fụ na ihe na-aga n'obodo adịrọzi ka o si kwesị ịga. They are taking it upon themselves to make sure that things are done the right way.
Ọ dị mma. Ebumnobi anyị bụ na emechaa ife niile adọnọcha ana niile a na-adọnọ kwuchi ife niile a na-ekwu ka a na-eme ife a na-ekwu ọhọ asụsụ oyibo soro gaa ebe a soro gaa ebe a ekwucha ya mmadụ niile anakwa onwe ife na-eme the same ife ka na-eme a na-eme the things agakwuo from good to bad to worse so ife anyị achọrọ ịchọ progress ọganiru n'ala Igbo ikwukwa okwu still on that same topic on security in the southeast n'ala Igbo eziokwu na ya apụta na-ekwu na ala Igbo adịrọ safe na ife na-eme n'ala Igbo nke a na-eme n'ala Igbo mana ka esi rate security n'ala Igbo
nke bụ eziokwu bụ na enwero rate kaadị ị ga-eyuzu wee rate anya bụ ife iwe nweta ife chọrọ maka na ọ bụgodo na ofu mkpụrụ onye bụ onye ewepụrụ ndụ ya ọ nnukwu ife ka ọ bụ if one person loses his or her life is a very big deal so ebe anyị na-abụrụ ebe anyị kwesịrị ịnọ enwere ọtụtụ ife niile kwesịrị na-eme eme maka ya bụ insecurity so insecurity bụ ihe dị gboo and ọ bụrụ sọsọ n'ala Igbo ka ọ dị everywhere it's a global phenomenon it's not just the Nigerian situation but abịa na Nigeria ọ bụrụ a national problem and the man ka esi wee dị Nigeria's security architecture is designed and centralized meaning that na onye nọ n'isi Abuja ga-ekwu ihe na-eme ọha na-ezite ndị na-abịa echekwa obodo ọ bụrụ na ha zite onye ala ịma na onye ala ga-arapụ ụzọ ndị ndori abịa zukọlịsie ife ọ bụrụ na ha zite onye ori ịma na onye ori ga-eso na-akwado so nya bụ ife bụ ihe gwụrụ ike mana ndị nọ n'ala Igbo bụ ndị South Eastern leaders nwekwara oke n'ọlụ dị alụfa ịmago inye aka ka nya bụ ife benata enwere ife fa kwesịrị ime ha kwesịrị ịlụ ọlụ in collaboration with the police, to ensure and mitigate some of these challenges. Nke dịka ibe ya bụ ebulu imago provide the job opportunities and employment for young people. Nke bụ eziokwu bụ na asị na an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So ọ bụrụ na mmadụ adịrọ busy, ọ bụrụ na enwere ife ndị mmadụ na-etinye aka na ma na fa ga-etinye aka n'ife ọjọọ ya bụ ife bụ ife nyelu nsogbu and ife a bụ ife n'uche nke m bụ ebe ndị na-acha anyị na-eri mperi so ị na-anya security job security na insecurity nwere capacity related so you can't take one without leaving the other one.
Yeah, eziokwu. And ife a bụ ife anyị na-ekwu right from time ọghọta ka anyị bidoro na-ekwu ya maka ọtụtụ checkpoints dị n'ala Igbo. Now nsi Anambra nsi Ọka na-abata Enugu immediately battle from Ugwuoba to Oji River mmafu at least 10 checkpoints from n'ime that same Oji River ị ga-afụ up to that same 10 checkpoints efu army efu police efu NDLEA efu FRSC
efu
ma custom ha ncha nọ na that road.
Nwanne m nwoke nke bụ eziokwu bụ ndị mekaniki ekwurozi anyị ka mara ndị bụ ndị ala ọ dịzị nnọọ ka ọ bụrụ na ọ dịzị ka nọ ya eziokwu maka na ndị mmadụ ekwughị ike ya na-asị na the more we have checkpoints the more insecurity and enwekwere ndị na-arụ aka na-ameka ndị be anyị si na nwatakịrị na-arụ aka n'ebe akwa na ọ bụrụ na nne ya nọrọ ebe anyị mana nne ya na enwerere ebe ndị be anyị na-arụ aka wee na-ekwu na-asị na ebe niile a na-enwe checkpoints n'ala Igbo na a na-enwegasị attack around that area and anụnụbere m sị na checkpoint nke dị n'Oji ma checkpoint dị n'Ugwuoba ma checkpoint dị ebe dị etu a jidere ndị ori enwebero ihe a na-akpọ impact analysis kedu the impact checkpoint a megoro anyị kedu value sometime in 2017 enwere report pụtara na ndị a na-anakọ ego ruru 90 billion from southeast from checkpoints ịgbakọ onye bụ 90 billion efonat na ihe a bụ ego kwesịrị ịdị useful to ndị be anyị ka ewekọrọ imago through that means and anakwa m ekwu okwu police brutality nke a bụkwa another thing entirely ịfụtụ nke mere n'Enugu artisan new artisan ebe nwatakịrị jelu mmemme na-anara ụbụ ya agbagbuo ya na checkpoint
nke a melu ụbọchị a
Sunday nke a bụ na checkpoint ka o melu nke a bụrụ na o mere n'ime obodo ma ọ asị na eje ejezori nke a bụ na checkpoint
expressway
express federal government expressway Enugu Port Harcourt express ka ife a mere. So nwatakịrị a kịta na kedu ife ndị befa ya akọ ife a bụ ife anyị na-afụ n'obodo because ọ bụrụ sọsọ na imago police checkpoint enwegasịrị other things ife ndị a na-eje na street ha jee na street ha akpọku n'ọta young people were fa wunye na prison na-anakwalụfe ego
even na inye different scenarios. So recently even na urban radio nwere radio station a na-akpọ urban radio n'Enugu a ndị radio
on air
n'otu anyị nọ na-ekwu okwu kịta EFCC abata ebe a ga-akpọkọrọ anyị na scatter disrupt all their frequency. Even na Imo State recently ka ndị mmadụ the youths bido na complain na-share video online ebe ndị polisi na-anọ n'okporo ụzọ and extort ha.
Ife a bụ ife ndị na-achị anyị ha hapụrụ ndị polisi ha bịa na-emerika ala case ihe ha na-eme dị ọ jọrọ njọ ọ dị ọ na-agba anya mmiri maka na ị gaa n'obodo ụfọdụ ụmụ ntorobịa be anyị na-enwele ezigbo ife fa na-eme ndị ọ na-akacha njọ ma afọ na ị nwere ezigbo ife na-eme ọ bụrụ na ị dị ka onye ala farapụ gị mana once they look at you you look fresh you look iburu a problem. Why should that be a problem? Ife a bụ ife na-akpata ụmụaka ntorobịa anyị ji relocate elsewhere, leaving this place desolated. And this is, in my opinion, is deliberate. And if our leaders are not alive to their responsibility, they will wake up one day and realize that they are the only adults living in the Southeast. They should wake up and stop this nonsense. In my opinion, it's absolute it's nonsense and it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable because the last time IML entered protest, we demanded the end to police brutality. That is the major reason of the protest. Yeah. Now, if that now the police brutality is still on the increase, if I protest now they didn't listen or didn't now they involved in the SACS operation. Because now the country, the people have moved on. Everybody has moved on. They now, brought back these people because the bad elements within the system, the police system, is causing them so much harm. So in the police, equally, stand up. This police as a body need to stand up and begin to weed themselves of these elements that are causing, negative image to them.
Oh, the negative image they go too much. So moving on to from that security, the issue of security. Recently, I know Punch newspapers were releasing a data have released about Nigerian governors' foreign travel expenses. That is, if you have spend. So I therefore evaluating the Southeast governors.
Yes,
so I now found Enugu State Governor Nkebu Peter Mba spend the 28.6 million naira on his foreign travels. I'm not Peter Mba go China. I'm not go otutu ebe mana 28.6 million naira for those kind of trips. The very not very okay because of how compared to the other ones.
Okay.
Anambra Abia onye so that's Alex Oti spend the 280.2 million naira. That's over
200.
Yes, 280.2 million naira. That's Peter Mba spend the 10% if Alex Oti spend. Anambra Governor Soludo 316.42 million naira. Imo State 1.22 billion naira. Then nke na-emezi ndị mmadụ nke na-agbazi ndị mmadụ Haribo Ebonyi State. Governor Ebonyi State spend 1.85 billion naira na foreign travel. And only a man of Punch newspapers whooped these digits. So I manufacture them. On the Voice of the East or Punch.
Because I get there na screen. Can the mother not fair? Because in fact, this is very sad reality. Agents kuchapo ihe insecurity neme, kuchapo the consequence of unemployment and lack of job opportunity. And also talk about the negligence of our leaders, especially the political leaders.
Yeah.
Kita o doro iwu na ọkụka na anya na our leaders are intentionally doing all these things. Because in anya, 1.8 of where?
1.85 billion.
That money graduated foreign trip, right? And now they graduate this foreign trip. If I need people now,
investors,
foreign investors. Each kita na ije ile anya na akwụkwọ ihe afụ na any single investors family attract
at all. Now, according to statistics how not so Abia State statistics so Abia State na southeast attract go foreign investments.
So can if a whole close to 2 billion naira where metro government. So now look at the problem. If that 2 billion was spent on existing industries, let's not even talk about building industry, or used to provide soft loan, or credit facility for traders in Ebonyi State, a lot of people. With this economic reality, if you inject that billion naira into a Ebonyi economy by helping small scale businesses, it will go a long way in lifting a lot of people out of poverty. If you also spend that amount on education, take for instance, map out a local government or 2 local governments in Ebonyi State and decide to rebuild all the dilapidated schools or pay teachers their salaries with that amount, it will go a long way in mitigating the poverty that is ravaging the region. And Ebonyi State happens to be the poorest state in the southeast. And so it does not make sense that the state governor will spend this amount.
Spending the highest amount.
And I hope the people are watching and taking note of this. He needs to explain to the people, and people need to voice this thing out. What exactly did Nwifuru, what did he do with 1.8 billion? Ego leka hope mel.
1.22 billion.
Kedife hope gas now. No jigolo ego. I gas now go how many years now? I think 5 to 6 years.
Yes.
Kedifo jiego awe mepute. Kedi the impact. What social or economic value can ego spend in foreign trip megolo in the Imo State? The Imo State is still battling heavy insecurity. And mind you, Imo State has the largest oil gas deposits. And it's also the biggest in GDP in the East. It has the highest GDP. Kedi impact in hope megolo na Imo State. If I be fair, ndi Imo State ma ndi Igbo, if I feel ganajo, what are the impacts and what exactly did he gain with this spending? Because it is ridiculous.
It is.
Then the third person, Anambra State Governor,
316 million.
It is still outrageous because the governor was unable to attract any investment
at all.
With all the beautiful manifesto, with all the beautiful presentation he made during the campaign as professor of economics, he is unable to attract a single FDI. It is a shame. As someone that comes from Anambra State, I feel so embarrassed reading about this. Governor of Anambra State, His Excellency, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, I am very disappointed in what you are currently doing. Spending this amount of money on foreign trips, yet you are unable to attract a single FDI. It's unacceptable. The Anambra are not happy with you on this. We are embarrassed that a whole Anambra State having a whole professor of economics is unable to attract a single investment.
A whole former governor of the central bank.
It's unbelievable. I cannot believe my eyes. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. So it's something that we need to really think about.
Even speaking on Governor Soludo, even the same local government area, again at the governorcy, a lot of people Bundi Anambra, Bukwande abro ndi Anambra bina Anambra na to vote na Anambra. Tulu Governor Soludo vote. They disappointed.
I'm very embarrassed, honestly. It's now Lexoti.
It's 280 points to
the last time I saw was 150 million. Now what it means is it has also added something. and my governor, Anambra State governor, has not added any dime. It's a shame. It's a very big shame. I'm of course, Ndị Igbo, amam n'unu na n'ife a na-ekwu. Are you happy to hear that your governor, Professor Soludo, Charles Soludo, has not attracted a single FDI into Anambra State? Are you happy to hear that? Kedi excuse onwell with over 300 million naira spent on foreign trip in search of what? You know, Nkena Abokasima, what I don't understand is that our governors would leave, abandon local manufacturers, investors, and be chasing shadows. Onwero Nkomelo na Abuja, also with Anambra indigens.
Yeah.
I think he did something in Abuja.
And he also did in Lagos.
He also did in Lagos, asking them to come and invest.
Yeah.
Did the resultant effect? Absolutely nothing. If he's unable to attract investment in Anambra State, then there's something fundamentally wrong. There's something wrong. And I hope in Anambra we are paying attention, because next election will come in, we are going to Obrokwi Ijelozo. Elozo is not
the basics of the
it's not anything. Anybody can build roads. If you put an idiot as a governor, you can have him award contracts and build roads. It's so basic. This is 21st century, and we are not using road construction as a yardstick to measure governance. It is so outdated. We should stop doing that.
Yeah. Still speaking on Anambra State Governor, Maka, quite a lot of things. Recently, I signed the local government administration law. That is one of the 3 new laws he passed, and this law has Biago has received with a lot of criticisms online.
As it should.
Maka, if this law na kowab na again joint planning between the local government and the state government, and the madu go na this law will there's still nothing still changes, because the state government is still going to be in charge of he said it's to be able to for there to be transparency.
That law is criminal. It is against the constitution, especially the ruling of the Supreme Court. The truth is that landmark ruling by the Supreme Court, by Justice again, was a very pivotal ruling for the nation to truly practice true federalism, where you decentralize power, not just to state, but to the local government.
Local government, yeah.
If Melobo now, I am, like I said before, I am very disappointed. Makana, this is when when the judgment came, a lot of us were very happy, because at least we can now start witnessing governance at the grassroots. The essence of that is to take governance to every nook and cranny. Makana, the closest government, the local government, to people,
to the grassroots.
So people have been agitating for local government autonomy. When this ruling mandating and the law, that is, you are going against the Supreme Court judgment, and I hope.
I'll say, there's a line there, silly, or called decree number 7 somewhere in the law. That is where he's holding on to.
That's
right. I forgot. I
can't remember. What he's trying to do is he's trying to take advantage of the loophole within because that's what they do.
Yeah.
They look for loopholes and take advantage of it. So he's trying to take advantage of the loophole that exists. If I don't know about the law, I'm not a lawyer. So on actually take advantage of the loophole to stifle and strangulate the autonomy of the local government that has been granted by the Supreme Court. It is unacceptable. If I had the Roma, onye for chasi kpọọ onye for oji si kpọọ oji. If go for Governor Soludo na Anambra State adroma. It is against the autonomy of local government. It is unacceptable. If I be ife joluru njorinne we sigbo nkap enusi. At this point, if I na-ekwu ka a ga-esi wee nwee local government autonomy, then states are now run on their own,
yeah.
Generate your revenue, bring in investments, revive the economy, make security. These are the basic things. I know your Oburu just stifle what the local government, and look at how quick he was able to, take that
take it to the
state
state house.
assembly and get it passed. And I think I read somewhere that the opposition were really
Yeah,
against
if
that
I
decision.
think one of the Labour Party
The Labour Party
the
in the House,
senator representing, I think the one representing it's
Anambra
Tony
North.
Nwoye.
Tony
Tony
Nwoye.
Nwoye spoke about it in the House of in the Senate House. Tony Nwoye spoke about it. APC in Anambra State
Yes.
also spoke against
They should move beyond speaking. They should go to courts. It is against the constitution. It's against the provision of the law, because the Supreme Court ruling is the law. So they should take it to court. Soludo should be sued for this. It is against the pronouncement made by the Supreme Court. These are the distractions that we shouldn't be entertaining in the 21st century. If somebody had predicted or had prophesied to me that in 2024 that Professor Soludo would be involved in this type of politics, because this is not where we should be.
True.
He's taking us back. What we are saying is that the local government autonomy has been an age-long battle. It has been an age-long battle, and now it was sent from the Supreme Court.
I feel low na him make go progress.
Ijena state, reverse kwanya bife Odiroma. Look at the last election, local government election. It was shambolic. It was not free. It was not fair. He just conducted a kangaroo election. It wasn't an election, in my opinion. These are the things that makes me question a lot of things in this country. The truth is that I am particularly very disappointed in Professor Soludo. Anybody who is watching this that is close to him should tell him that people are really, 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 really disappointed. I know many of you may not tell him the truth. I hope he will hear and listen how disappointed people are with him and his style of governance. Everything in Anambra State, everything that I see coming from him does not represent who he is and what he claims to be. In fact, I'm doubting everything. Let's go on to if there is any other thing we can discuss.
Okay, so I go most of the things I will on our agenda for today. So kai gbapi also tupu ana achọrọ rate alone this Southeast governors. Mkpọ afa ha exam score ha based on their performance so far. And also public perception.
Okay, because I've not been to all the states, in the recent past. So for example, I got Bermeboni. I got Mambia. I got Imo, I got Imo. Of course, I'm Enugu. So of course, Ebi in Anambra. So I'll be able to give 4 of them, but that Abia is very important. I would love to be there, to give that. But I will talk about the perception. Really.
Okay. So maybe I give me alphabetically.
Okay.
Abia.
Perception has been very good. A lot of people have spoken so highly of the governor, especially people living in Abia State. I call people from Abia State. And I have been to Abia State and I felt it. There is this, confidence that is gradually returning. And the confidence that the governor means well. The major problem most of our leaders they don't have trust. There is a serious trust deficit in the system. So when we that trust deficit, and we also the best thing, and so that trust only, I hope he maintains it. I hope he maintains it. At least the reviving of the roads in Aba has been a continuous project.
My name will be reservation about Abia, about Governor Otis. The major things on the Mewelu roads, right? I really hope I feel his impact in other sectors.
Okay, I have a very vivid example. Pictures or videos that are circulated on the internet where the yeah, but in the Nalwolo, we are literally rejoicing for receiving their salary. Imagine, just now call salary are they happy?
What you are supposed to, what is rightfully yours.
We have descended to the lowest abyss situation because Ketan and them and are this happy na equal of a salary so that's to show you the kind of abia he met on ground. And I can tell you that some of the videos, the clips some of what watched during his time when he was touring, awarding contracts in some of those places. And many roads all are full like this. If you clearly, now the road has been overgrown by weeds and trees. You got to go. I mean, that's kind of that level of neglect, that level of abandonment was what he met on ground. So let's, talk about his perception has been quite good. So I give him a perception. I give him over 6.5.
Over
6.5. He has been very active. He has been, on ground doing the right thing. So that's what I think about Abia State.
Anambra State, your own state.
Okay, Anambra State. In fact, I'll be very magnanimous because honestly, Soludo came with a high hope. First off, he came with, assembling the best brain, quote unquote. I somehow I was part of some of the people that,
Is it the transition?
The transition committee, I was aware of that. Then all of a sudden, when the next thing we started seeing political appointments, settlement, and all of that. Then you saw the revenue generation model that he promised us. Also, now digitalize everything. Bidding near the highest bidders to elements that have questionable records. You heard the Ifeanyi. Ifeanyi was there. Ifeanyi Obaje was in the meeting where they did the bidding and you saw the outcomes. That was the starting point for me. Because all these things are, there are things that will show you where so the beginning of his administration was really it was wobbled. It had a lot of inconsistencies. Then in the middle, Obago
almost 3 years.
To third, yes, Obago to third. So in the middle, full distractions. Obido started engaging in throwing tantrums.
Political tantrums.
Bido remember ifendo imobodo. Name village politics. I don't understand why a professor of his caliber would be engaging in things like that. It was unacceptable for me. Eben place Iliyama, all the no eba. Nyama now operate eba. So it was so disappointing for me. And a lot of people have talked about road infrastructure, which I think is also part of his political gimmick. Because look at it this way. They might believe that Nanda Anambra like a road. Once you door of a road, you have done everything for them because of the way we have been wired to do things for ourselves.
True. Even individuals,
everything. So we think that is the norm. And it has really, really affected us that we now think that building road is a special quality in government. Oburo, let me tell you, it is the basic minimum requirement. Or the non can HI we mother no look at and I still and I with a certificate when I with the WAEC. Sorry, with the first living certificate.
Primary school.
That is it. That is what it is. It has absolutely no meaning to governance. A measure anything. After all, we are not constructed. Governance, when you are creative, when you are proactive, when you are very humane, when you have strategy strategies that work. These are what governance actually should reflect. So for me, overall, then there are so many other gimmicks. There are so many other things that I heard he was doing. Then another thing is his prudence. I heard that he's quite prudent. I've seen a lot of people talk about that. People close to him talk about him being prudence, not allowing people to spend money. It's good.
But the prudence, if he is safe, what are you using it to do?
Okay, we've heard about his prudence, but we are not sure of what he has been able to achieve with that money saved and stopping of loop, maybe corruption. So I hear a lot of things from people around him saying that now he doesn't allow wasteful spending and he has not borrowed any dime with all the things he's doing and all of that. But increased tax. So increased taxation. He taxed a number of people. This is our taxpayers' money. Actually, for that innovative project or innovative idea on how to bring investors or investments, how to also make existing ones in Anambra State. Anambra State is the state in well a lot of small, medium enterprises. Kedi policy soludo that will ensure that these enterprises or the enterprise of Anambra living in Anambra are doing incredibly well, especially at this point in where bad economic situation. These are the things I could say now. Go on any business in Anambra State that is struggling. Kedife government in Emelogi. Ask yourself, what has Governor Soludo done to make sure that your business is not just safe, secured, but also doing well? Policy, is there any policy that he has in place that captures the people like you? If I can then go about young person, capital from school, and well opportunity. As a result of Soludo's policy, then this opportunity is coming in place and people are getting job opportunities and all of that. The strategic business idea. I'm focusing on business because this is his fault. This is where he should be driving ahead of every other governor in Nigeria. You got to go. So if I can for me, I've not seen any. So I am humbly giving him 3.5
over 10.
Yes.
Okay. Ebonyi.
Well, like I said, I've not been to Ebonyi State. I've not been to Ebonyi State for a while now, even though I served there. But perception, I've not really heard anything very negative. And I think I spoke to someone about the governor in the state. He didn't say he was bad. He didn't say he was good.
Ebonyi State. Media. Adibero. So enough media presence.
It's not just the media, it's the people. Because media but I think what has happened is that the last administration was high-handed. Like he was brutal. So and it's also somehow affected the present government. Because so that has also contributed to the silence or the quietness of the Ebonyi State.
Even I announced correspondents from all Southeast states, volunteer correspondents, who even at the end of the month would, still cater to some of their stuff. And surprisingly, nobody came from Ebonyi. We didn't have any entry from Ebonyi, but we had from other Southeast states. And ordinary encouraging. We are also trying as much as I know. Anambra State, Abia State, Enugu, Imo. Actually,
Ebonyi State. Because all the very important. Then if I get I got mark we need to interface with the people who are practicing media. Or one of them on a radio, one of them on a print, whichever one. Any day interface. If I can follow their situation, because that's how you get to know the real situation on ground. And then you have freedom at all to express the opinion. What I go for say you will in your report of the current reality in Ebonyi. because Ebonyi kwesịghị dị in the middle. Is either near the hot
Oh, cool.
or Joey. You have to go in the middle. So I wouldn't give him anything. I would just give him 5 because I don't. To be honest, I don't know much.
And given his high spending on foreign travels.
That one too. That one is really crazy. You know, nke anwa dị ọ na-agba ala because aghọtara m kedu ife o ji. Hey, Pat, ọ bụ na m chetara nke ahụ, ọ kara iwe mmenye 3 biko. Ka wetu na 3. Kedu ife o spendere nya bụ ife for. Mana nye ya 3 kita na that means na ọ ka.
No, na Soludo ka.
Mba no, bịa nyezie 4. Okay. I'm giving him 4. Ọ ka Soludo.
Eke ala ịbịago Enugu.
Okay.
Enugu Peter Mba. Ema ka m kwugodo ife a tupu ekwuo ife ịchọrọ ikwu. Nsogbu m na Peter Mba nwere bụ na Peter Mba na-akwụ ndị mmadụ ụgwọ, ndị influencer ụgwọ. O nwere a group of influencers ya bụ Peter Mba mee iji gafee. Peter Mba emego nke a, Peter Mba emego nke a. So a lot of perception. This is a cheap go. Some of the perceptions.
So what do you think about his perception? What do you think about the perception about him is now? Can you feel
now, I actually think he's working. I would not.
That's the perception.
Not even perception. Okay. From what I've seen, inyego my own fair assessment. Perception yeah kita self akaligo nke Alex.
Okay. You know why? Because he is actually engaging people. I think there is and a mayfair sometimes mayfair you fair. Him and I draw used to communication, especially from government to the people. Exactly. Communication to even to the grassroots. Exactly. Governor kwesịrị onye ga na-ekwu ife ọ na-eme n'obodo. Because he communicate ya ndị mmadụ wee solo gị. We mara ebe ị na-aga. Because na ọ bụ ndị mmadụ ka ị na-achị ịdachi animal. Ịdachi anụmanụ. Ọ ndị mmadụ ahụ ị na-achị ka ị ga na-agwa nekwe ife na-eme o nekwe ka nsi eme ya. Ọ bụrụ na ọ dị ha fa mma ha sị hey ihe anyị na-eme ya chọrọ ya ma ọ bụrụ na ọ dị fa mma ha sị ha chọrọ ya. So there has to be a communication model ị ga-develop. Amara m nke ya ma na-use. Nwere ka bụ these social media influencers ka ọ imego adopt. But let's dive into his own case. I see him as someone that is very audacious. Like his audacity is quite captivating. Like Mfuya and his audacious projects, I'm very impressed. He came in and said 180 days he's going to have water. And the full 100% effort. Even if it's not 100% accomplished, he have full effort. Every time for something that is going on. As regards to that is what 100% effort means. So ndị mmadụ ga-asị well ọ na-eme something. Ị gaghị na ọ na-eme something. I'm not even judging. I've not seen the road. I don't pay attention to the roads. Are just basics. The point is that he came into power and decided to bring back alive to moribund and abandoned projects. That to me is a pointer of somebody who is really interested in governance. Because these projects are getting accredited enough. Are getting enough money to loot, actually. Because in car we have already. So whatever thing in Mebama, I'm on your bidolia. I'm going to get that credit.
Even the ICC,
the way members I got remember now. You know, I passed through there, and the rate of work there is incredible. I'm sure they are going to finish before December. So that alone, then Afghan Hotel Presidential. Hotel Presidential, I had a very serious debate with the previous governor. They budgeted over $1 billion to renovate it at some point. That money, my budget may implement or may implement. I don't know. Man, the truth now, that impression shows that he truly understands what governance means, because it means continuum. You start on a clean slate. No, you continue from where the predecessors stopped. You start doing the things that he started, you complete some of them, then bigger your own. So I see him as someone who is quite very, audacious ambitious, very, very interested and you see him mentioning things like that. I want to take Enugu State's economy GDP to so. I want to bring this. I want to bring that.
To also speak on this, recently on a report to Putana, I think now Enugu State's GDP has grown. I think that they generated is it at
highest,
5 billion?
okay, highest in IGR.
IGR, yes.
I'm not a fan of IGR. I'm sorry. So the reason why I'm not a fan of IGR is that Nigeria is a very poor earning country. We have very high number of poor people. The taxing model is quite bad, or should I say it is not favorable to poor people. The poor people are taxed more in Nigeria. Yeah, ndị a na-ere kedu ife a na-akpọfa ndị a na-eme mania job, ndị a na-eregasị street foods.
Street foods, yeah.
Fa na-akwụ ezigbo ụgwọ. Idebe ọ bụrụ na ị na-akwa baro ma ọ bụ ị na-eme, some of them pay more tax than the rich
even
people.
POS now.
So that level of taxation is too high. I'm not anti-rich people though, but I feel like the rich people in this country are not paying enough tax commensurate with the kind of tax poor people are paying. So in my humble opinion, so that's what I think. And if governments should really increase taxation, they should also increase a lot of incentives to make, especially the poor people, to put people out of poverty. Before you tax, you gain away something email. So this idea of taxing comes from is a Lagos mentality. Economics. I am not a fan of it.
And also, one of the criticisms his Peter Mbah's government has faced is the high level of taxation in Enugu. Like the people we pay so much taxes.
Careful over tax. People don't understand what this IGR means. High IGR means that there is more money in the hands of government than the people. So, for example, if people are paying 20% of their earnings, right, to government, and the government increased it to 30%, it means that you are giving government more money than you are saving. So, I don't think we are paying enough tax as Nigerians, right? We are not paying enough tax. The tax net has not been widened enough to accommodate, because if you go elsewhere in the civilized world, ndị na-akwụ tax, but ị ga-alụ ọlụ dị, ị ga-enweta ọlụ mmago here. So, but all the not a case of chicken and the egg. You got to kenke abia first. But if you ask me, as it stands now, the Nigerian population, the Nigerian people are already starved. Like, how they go squeezed enough. So the taxation should have a human face. That's the word. So you making Bruce your goods to destroy. I see this happen every time.
It's very sad.
So it does not have human face. So I think on that, Peter Mbah is guilty as charged. He is guilty as charged. The people who are accusing him of being attacked is too much. He is guilty of it. The second thing I think about him is that he understands. He's quite modern and very cosmopolitan. If you look at his government, he is so accommodating to divergent people. That is very important. Enugu is supposed to be one of the top cities in Nigeria, and he's supposed to have that phase of cosmopolitan. And so he embodies it, and that's what I like about him. I like Ramdedi to Spanish and the Keik, as you may want to use, like my governor. So I don't like that, but I like that about Peter Mbah. So he opens his door to everyone, provided you have value. He brings you in, and I want Ndenugu to also be open-minded like the government, because it's very important for the city. The city needs fresh ideas, irrespective of where they're coming from. This Enugu needs people from every part of the country, every part of the world to be contributing to the development, not just in Enugu, the indigenous Enugu people. So that is something that I like about him. It's going to open up Enugu to the world. So he has really done well, and I'm giving him 7.
7. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Then last but not the least, Imo.
Oh, my goodness. First off, I'm short of words. Yeah, because I mean, where will he even start from? He doesn't have the people's
Support.
support. So no matter his efforts, it will be effort in fertility. So he has already seen himself as a villain. He doesn't care anymore. If you study his body language, you will see that Hope Uzodinma was interested in. He doesn't stay in Imo State again, like the way he should be. People accuse him of so many things. He doesn't care. He doesn't even come out to debunk any. So he's no longer interested in seeking for your support because the support that what made him to be where he is today didn't come from the people. So that's one of the things I always tell people. If you are not part of the process that gets a leader into position, that leader will turn out to become somebody that doesn't really care about your feelings because you didn't give him any support. And that's why we must ensure that the process of electing leaders has to be credible. It has to be credible, at least free to a large extent. Because if the will of the people are not allowed to manifest, it will result to what you're having in Imo State, where people are no longer have lost trust. People are not they are not interested in his government. They don't even want him to succeed. So it's a very serious dilemma. So he has also performed very poorly, in my opinion. He has not really done anything very exceptionally well. Outside the fact that I must point out this. Hope Uzodinma has been able to attract certain level of investment, especially in oil and gas in Imo State. He has also attracted a free trade zone, which is very commendable. He is commissioner, I think the then commissioner of finance or economy, I can't remember the position now, portfolio now, has really done very well for the government, and they have brought a lot of policies that has really enabled gas exploration in the states. So I give him that. The oil and gas industries that are operating in the state are expanding. They are doing quite well. So other than that, the security is zero. The education, I've not really seen anything. So zero. Healthcare, I've not seen anything. Road transportation, what else? The welfare of the people. I've not heard him increase the salary. I've not heard him, do any new recruitment. I've not heard that. So I don't think he has done really well. So I'll give him 2.
Okay. I
hope I'm very magnanimous too. No, seriously. Listen, see, there are some things that I see our governors do, and I feel very bad about. They are very simple things. Let's not make this thing look too much cumbersome. Governance is not a rocket science. Makachi ha bụ services. Imadoki ọ dị nnọọ ka onye na-ere restaurants. Na customer bịa ka ị ga-esi serve customer anwa. Ị chọọ make the customer dissatisfied. You can do it if you want to. And that is how government is. If governors wants to satisfy the citizens, they know what to do. They know how to get it done. But the truth is, because some of them put their ego before everything, and the massaging of their ego becomes their priority. So they spend so much time trying to see who is praising them or who is not praising them. They spend so much time hiring sycophants. They spend so much money getting all the unnecessary attentions. Like in my governor name, later. At the end of the day, the core governance, the core things, you don't pay, you pay lip service to it. So this is the fundamental problem we have in our Igbo. When the governors and our leaders begin to take services to humanity as something they can do, selflessly, then we'll begin to see the change.
Ikwugo ọfụma nwanne m. Ngwanụ anyị elugo na njedebe nkata anyị taa. Nkata anyị na Maazị Uche Okoye kpara. Ọ ga-adị ụbọchị ọzọ. Oge anyị ga-akpọtakwa onye ọzọ anyị na-ekwu okwu maka ọchịchị n'ala Igbo.